Do not make a decision because this title frightened you. Make no purchase, promise, or reckless move because someone claimed to speak for God. The command in this message is clearer, safer, and far more personal than that. Chosen one, there is one decision that keeps returning. It may be a conversation, it may be an application, it may be a boundary you must set. You have prayed about it, analyzed it, and asked for another sign. But the same thought returns when the room becomes quiet. You have felt this at night. Your phone was open, your message was almost finished, your plan was sitting in front of you, and then doubt arrived, with 10 new reasons to wait. You called the timing wrong, but you never decided what the right timing would actually look like. That conflict has a name. It is the obedience gap. It is the distance between the step you recognize and the action your tired, overloaded, or wounded mind allows you to take. It does not prove that you lack faith. It does not mean your calling disappeared. It means more signs may not solve a problem created by inner division. Stay with me until the end. 3 things will become clear. First, you will learn how to separate grounded guidance from fear-driven pressure. Second, you will understand why the sharp and creative part of you can feel buried. Third, you will receive a practical way to prepare your mind for the next responsible step. Do not skip the middle. The deepest revelation is not only what the command says, it is why someone can hear it clearly, believe it deeply, and still feel unable to move. Many sincere people begin blaming themselves for a struggle they have never learned to name. You may plan everything perfectly, you may see every possible outcome, yet when action begins, your energy disappears. One part of you reaches toward change, while another protects the life you know because familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar possibility. This does not make you lazy. It does not make you broken. It means 2 powerful systems inside you may be pulling in opposite directions, and even a simple step can feel heavier than it truly is. Later, I will show you why 8 quiet minutes may matter. Not because 8 minutes can perform the work for you. Not because an audio can choose your future. It matters because insight needs a state where it can become action, and your current state may be burying the signal. For now, notice what appeared in your mind. Do not force an answer. Name the first decision, person, opportunity, or habit that came forward. That first image may reveal where your attention keeps returning, even while you try to distract yourself. If you recognize that call, write, "I hear the CALL" below. This is not a promise to me. It is not a vow to make a reckless choice. It is an honest admission that something needs your attention, and you are willing to examine it. Here is the question that leads us forward. If this instruction is real and grounded, why does it bring both clarity and fear at the same time? The answer may change how you understand hesitation. It may change your step. Clarity and fear can arrive together. That does not mean the guidance is false. It may mean the instruction touches the place you avoided, because change asks you to leave a familiar identity. But fear must never become your master. A clear command does not ask you to abandon reason. It does not demand that you harm yourself, betray your values, or place everything at risk in one emotional moment. Grounded guidance can survive honest questions. The command is simple. Stop creating more noise. Examine what keeps returning. Then take the smallest responsible step that can reveal more truth. You do not need the whole road. You need the next piece of ground. There are 3 tests you can use. The first is the integrity test. Ask whether this step requires deception, cruelty, manipulation, or the violation of a value you know is essential. If it does, stop. A message that demands corruption should not be called divine guidance. The second is the clarity test. Can you describe the next step in one plain sentence? Not the entire dream, not every outcome, just the action in front of you. Confusion speaks in endless possibilities, but grounded clarity usually becomes specific enough to examine. The third is the responsibility test. Can you begin with a step that is measured, lawful, and possible to review? You may not need to quit your job today. You may need to update your resume, research 3 opportunities, or speak with someone who understands the field. You may need to state a boundary, record what is happening, or seek wise support. It gives courage a structure that protects you from panic. This is the difference many people miss. Urgency says something matters. Panic says you must act without thought. Guidance can be urgent, but it does not fear verification. It allows you to pray, gather facts, and speak with someone trustworthy before a major decision. Chosen one. This is not about surrendering your judgment to a voice on a screen. It is about recovering your judgment. The strongest instruction makes you more honest, more responsible, and more able to face reality without hiding behind endless delay. You may already know your next step. It might be sending one email. It might be making one appointment. It might be writing the first page, closing one account, or telling the truth in a calm conversation. The step can be small and still be sacred. Write clarity before fear below. If you understand this difference, you are not promising a result. You are choosing to test every instruction through integrity, clarity, and responsibility before giving it power over your life. Now the harder question appears. What if you know the next step, pass all 3 tests, and still cannot begin? That is where the deeper problem starts. Knowing is not always enough, because the body and mind can resist what the spirit has already recognized. The deeper problem has a name. It is the obedience gap. This is the space between what you recognize and what you actually do. It appears when insight is real, but action is delayed by fear, exhaustion, confusion, or an identity built around staying safe. This gap does not always come from rebellion. Sometimes it comes from overload. The mind becomes crowded, and even a simple action starts feeling larger than it is. You can see the gap in 4 patterns. The first is endless searching. You keep watching, reading, and asking for more guidance, even after the next step is clear. New information gives relief, but it also delays beginning. The second pattern is planning without movement. You feel energized while imagining the result. Then the moment arrives to send, publish, call, apply, or speak, and your energy suddenly falls away. The third pattern is method switching. Every time a process becomes uncomfortable, you replace it. Starting again feels safer than staying long enough to be tested. The fourth pattern is undefined timing. You keep saying the moment is not right, but you never name what must change. Waiting without a clear condition is not always discernment. Sometimes it is fear wearing the language of wisdom. There is a difference between divine delay and avoidant delay. Divine delay contains preparation. It may involve facts, healing, money, skill, or a condition you can name. Avoidant delay has no finish line. It only creates another reason tomorrow. Your brain often prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility. A better future can still feel threatening when it asks you to become someone your old identity does not recognize. That is why you can love God and still freeze. This is not proof of failure. It means insight must be joined with a process your nervous system can tolerate. Some of you are the reluctant messenger. You see what needs to be said, but you fear the cost. Others are the buried seer. You notice patterns early, but disappointment taught you to distrust what you see. I once confused gathering knowledge with progress. Every new idea made me feel productive. Every new method gave me another beginning. But I was collecting answers while avoiding the one action those answers required. Take a quiet moment now. Relax your jaw. Lower your shoulders. Open your hands. Ask yourself one question. Am I missing an answer, or am I missing readiness? Do not punish yourself for what comes up. Write one sentence somewhere private. The step I already know but keep avoiding is. Then complete it with the simplest truth you can name. You do not need to perform that step this second. First, you need to see it without distortion. Shame makes the gap wider. Honest awareness begins to close it, because you can finally work with the real obstacle. The gap closes through smaller action and a clearer state. It closes when you stop demanding perfect certainty. It closes when your next move becomes specific enough to test, and safe enough that your whole system does not treat it like a disaster. If this describes your pattern, stay with me. The next part will show why a capacity you once used naturally may now feel buried beneath stress, responsibility, and years of second-guessing. The ability did not necessarily disappear. The signal may still be there. Think back to the version of you who learned without fear. You imagined freely. You trusted curiosity before the world, taught you to doubt every unusual idea. You were open and willing to explore. Then life became heavier. Responsibilities grew. Disappointment left marks. You learned to analyze every possibility before taking one step, because careful thinking felt safer than hope. Little by little, imagination stopped feeling useful and began feeling dangerous. This is how the decline often begins. First comes natural curiosity, then comes judgment, then stress fills the space where wonder once lived. Finally, the mind uses analysis as protection, and every intuitive signal is questioned before it becomes action. Chosen one, your gift may not be gone, it may be buried. I call this the buried signal. It is the part of you that still sees patterns, senses timing, and connects ideas, but struggles to speak above fear and constant mental pressure. You need both sides of your thinking. You need logic that checks the facts. You need imagination that sees possibilities. Problems begin when these abilities act like enemies, because analysis without vision creates paralysis, while vision without analysis creates risk. Research has shown that different brain regions can specialize in different kinds of processing. Roger Sperrys' work deepened our understanding of differences between the hemispheres, but no responsible explanation should claim that people use only one side. You are not missing half of your brain. You are not waiting for a magical switch to make you brilliant. The deeper issue is coordination, because clear thinking becomes harder when stress keeps every part of you reacting instead of working together. This is why a neurologist studied the distance between analytical thought and intuitive insight, not to create instant genius, not to promise supernatural power. The goal was to explore whether a brief sound sequence could support a calmer and more focused state. It lasts 8 minutes. It is designed as a listening practice, and later I will explain what it is and what it can realistically support. Understand this. The tool does not create your calling. It may help reduce the noise around it. Picture tomorrow morning. You wake up without opening 5 different apps. You take a quiet moment. Then you finish one important task before the world begins pulling at your attention. Small completion rebuilds trust. Imagine sitting with someone you love and actually hearing them. Imagine making one decision without asking 10 people for permission. Imagine ending the day with evidence that you moved, instead of another list of things you almost began. The signal may still be there. It may be waiting beneath exhaustion and years of self-protection. You do not need to become your childhood self again. You need to recover the openness that fear taught you to suppress. If you feel that truth, write the signal remains below. This is a decision to stop calling a buried capacity a lost one, because what is buried can be uncovered with patience, practice, and honest action. But there is one warning. Not every intense feeling is guidance. Some feelings come from wisdom. Others come from fear, wearing the clothes of intuition. In the next part, you will learn how to tell the difference. Not every strong feeling is guidance. Some feelings are clear, others are panic, asking for control. The difference matters because fear speaks with urgency, while wisdom speaks with steady simplicity. Grounded clarity is usually direct. It can be uncomfortable, but it does not create chaos. It gives you one honest step, and it allows that step to be examined before you give it power over your life. Fear pressure behaves differently. It creates 10 disasters at once. It tells you that everything depends on one immediate choice. It hates questions, rejects wise counsel, and tries to make relief feel more important than truth. Clarity can wait long enough to verify facts. Panic demands movement, so the feeling will stop. Clarity accepts a small and responsible action, but panic wants a dramatic leap that proves you are brave. Ask yourself what the message produces. Does it make you more honest? Does it protect life, dignity, and responsibility? Can you explain the next step without inventing a catastrophe that will happen if you wait 1 hour? If the answer is no, slow down. A strong sensation is not automatic proof. A coincidence is not a contract. A spiritual title should never replace medical, legal, financial, or mental health support when help is needed. You do not have to believe every repeated number is a sign. You do not have to treat every dream as an instruction. The value of discernment is not blind belief. It is the ability to test what you feel without mocking it or surrendering to it. Some of you have watched hundreds of spiritual messages. You know the language, you recognize every pattern. But knowledge can become another hiding place when each new video gives comfort without asking for integration. Others believe they must become worthy before taking one step. You keep waiting to feel pure, fearless, or completely healed. But the next responsible action is not a reward for perfection. It is part of how maturity is built. Now, name what your delay is protecting. Is it safety? Is it your old image? Is it the right to say you were never ready? Is it a wound that would rather expect disappointment than risk hope again? Do not judge the answer. See it. The pattern cannot loosen while it remains hidden. You are not releasing wisdom. You are releasing the version of delay that keeps borrowing wisdom's voice. If you are ready to stop doing that, write "I release delay" below. This is not a promise that fear will vanish. It is a decision that fear will no longer receive the final vote. But releasing delay creates an empty space. That space must be filled with a state that can hold clarity, because insight disappears quickly when the mind returns to noise, pressure, and scattered attention. The next part gives you a practical process. It will show you how to move from insight into readiness without demanding perfect confidence or a dramatic emotional breakthrough. Insight is not action. Motivation is not a system. A clear moment can fade when the mind returns to noise and unfinished thoughts. You need a bridge between what you recognize and what you do. I call this process clear. The first step is calm the noise. Put down the phone, reduce stimulation. Give yourself a few quiet minutes, because a crowded mind turns one instruction into 10 arguments. The second step is locate the instruction. Write the action that keeps returning. Make it plain. Do not write your entire destiny. Write one sentence that can be examined today. The third step is examine the cost. Ask what action may cost you. Then ask what continued delay is already costing you. Avoidance feels free while its price is paid through lost time and self-trust. The fourth step is act at the smallest scale. Send one message, research one fact, draft one page, make one appointment. A small action gives real information, while endless thinking repeats the same fear. The fifth step is review without punishment. Look at what happened. Adjust what needs adjustment. Do not turn one imperfect result into a judgment about your worth, because learning requires correction without shame. This process does not need a perfect mood. It needs repetition. It turns clarity into practice, and practice rebuilds self-trust. Remember the 8-minute sound sequence I mentioned earlier. It cannot choose for you. It cannot act. Its role is limited and realistic. It is designed to support focus before you use clear. Think of it as a signal. You listen, you become still. Then you write the next step and complete one small action. The sound is not the transformation. The action that follows begins transformation. Consider someone who wants to open an online store. They do not need another month of imagining success. They need to speak with 3 customers, test one offer, and learn before investing. Most viewers leave after an emotional peak. They search for another message when the feeling fades, but you are still here, which means you may want integration instead of another rush. So here is the deeper question. Why can someone understand every word in this message and still return to the same pattern tomorrow morning? The answer is not always a lack of knowledge. It is often the state through which that knowledge must pass. Stress and scattered attention can prevent insight from becoming organized behavior. That is why a repeated signal can matter. It gives the mind a recognizable doorway into practice. It does not guarantee an outcome, but it may help focused action become easier to repeat. This approach is for someone who wants a brief routine and accepts personal responsibility. It is not for someone seeking a miracle without action. 8 minutes cannot replace sleep, care, skill, or honest work. The clarity you have received is real, but clarity changes a life only when it has a bridge into action. In the next part, I will reveal the 8-minute tool and what users have reported. The 8-minute bridge has a name. It is called the Genius Switch. Before I explain the offer, understand what it is and what it is not. It is not a miracle. It is not a command from God. It is not a substitute for sleep, treatment, prayer, discipline, or honest work. The idea behind it is simple. Human thinking depends on many brain regions working together. Some processes help with language, order, and analysis. Others support pattern recognition, imagination, and broader awareness. Clear decisions often require cooperation between these abilities. Research by Roger Sperrys helped deepen scientific understanding of functional differences between the brain hemispheres. That work does not mean people use only one side of the brain. It does not mean one side is purely logical and the other is purely creative. The brain is more connected and complex than that. The problem begins when stress and scattered attention make cooperation harder. You may keep analyzing without reaching a decision. You may sense a direction, but fail to organize it into action. The Genius Switch is presented as a short listening practice designed to support a calmer and more focused state. Before the name was revealed, I told you about an 8-minute sound sequence. This is that sequence. According to the product information, it was developed around a method called neural sync technology. The intended goal is to support what the creators describe as whole brain activation. That phrase should be understood carefully. It does not mean instant intelligence. It does not mean hidden supernatural power. It means the audio is designed to encourage a state where focused and intuitive thinking may feel easier to access together. One reported user is Lisa, a nurse from San Diego. Her days were emotionally demanding. She often carried the pressure of work into her home, and quiet moments still felt crowded by unfinished thoughts. After using the audio as part of her routine, she reported feeling calmer and more directed at the beginning of the day. Her experience does not prove the same result for everyone. It shows how one person used a short practice to create a clearer transition into daily action. Another reported user is Matthew, an online store owner from Houston. He had many ideas, but he changed direction often. Research became a comfortable place to hide, because every new possibility delayed the risk of choosing one path. He reported feeling more focused after adding the audio to his routine. He also said he completed more of the tasks he had already selected. That does not guarantee business growth. It describes a personal experience with consistency and attention. The product is associated with Doctor Daniel Barone, a neurologist in New York City, according to the product materials. The Genius Switch is delivered as a digital audio track. You use headphones, close your eyes, and listen for 8 minutes. There is no required mantra, There is no complicated visualization. You do not need to rebuild your entire morning. You can combine it with prayer, journaling, or yoga, but those additions are optional. If you miss a day, you have not failed. Begin again the next day. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to create a repeated doorway into focus, then connect that focus with a real action. This is where the clear process returns. Listen first, calm the noise, locate the instruction, examine the cost, act at the smallest scale, then review without punishing yourself. The audio does not create your calling. It does not choose your purpose. It does not make the decision. It can only serve as a signal that your time for focused action has begun. That is why I call it the 8-minute bridge. The honest promise is not that 8 minutes will change your life. The honest promise is that 8 minutes may prepare you for an action that changes your direction. According to the sales materials, more than 18,000 people have tried the product. The page also includes positive ratings and reported customer experiences. Social proof can show that others found the routine useful, but it is not scientific proof of a guaranteed outcome. You must decide what role a tool like this should play. It may support attention, it may help you create consistency, but it cannot replace the choices that only you can make. If you are looking for a magical result without effort, this is not the answer. If you want a short daily practice, and you are willing to act after listening, then the structure may fit your life. Chosen one, the product is not the center of this message. Your next responsible step is the center. The tool matters only if it helps you close the obedience gap through repeated and grounded action. Now, one question remains. What happens if you try it and decide it is not right for you? That question matters because a clear decision must include the price, the guarantee, the limitations, and the truth about what you are actually buying. A responsible decision does not hide objections, it brings them into the light. You may be thinking that you have tried meditation, brainwave audio before. That concern is fair. The Genius Switch should not be treated as superior because it has a different name. Its practical difference is the 8-minute format and the sound sequence described in the product materials. Different does not mean guaranteed. You may also think 8 minutes sounds too simple. Simple does not mean effortless. The audio is only preparation. You still have to write the email, make the call, finish the page, or take the responsible step after listening. The value of a short routine is consistency. A complicated system may remain unused. 8 minutes can fit into a morning, but only you can turn that time into a meaningful pattern. Then there is the price. The current offer is $39. That amount may be reasonable for one person and difficult for another. Do not spend money needed for food, housing, medicine, debt, or essential bills. The materials mention a listed price of $49. The current offer is presented at $39 with digital delivery and lifetime access. Confirm the terms on the sales page before buying. The offer also includes digital bonuses. These include guided visualizations related to money, love, health, and happiness. It also lists a smart grocery shopping guide, a classic manifestation book, and an infographic about 5 habits. Bonuses can add convenience, but they should not make the decision for you. Ask whether you will actually use the main audio. Unused files have no value, no matter how large the package appears. The product materials also describe a money-back guarantee. Read the current guarantee period and conditions on the official sales page. A guarantee reduces risk, but it should never pressure you into an impulsive purchase. Some people may ask why the audio is not on YouTube or Spotify. The product is distributed through its official sales page. That fact does not prove it is more powerful, hidden, or suppressed. Use only the official link in the description or pinned comment. Check the product name, guarantee, price, and bonuses. Avoid copies from unknown sources because an imitation may not include the same material or buyer protection. The price and bonuses can change, But there is no spiritual countdown here. You are not disobeying God if you do not buy today, and you are not proving faith by entering payment details. Before choosing, ask 3 questions. Does this fit my budget? Will I use it for 8 minutes each day? Am I willing to connect the listening practice with one real action? If your answers are yes, examine the Genius Switch through the official link in the description and pinned comment. Read the terms, review the guarantee, then decide without pressure. If your answers are no, use the clear process without buying anything. Set aside 8 quiet minutes. Lower the noise, write the next responsible step, and act at the smallest scale. Write, "I choose," with clarity below. This is not a pledge to purchase. It is a statement that fear, excitement, and marketing pressure will not make the decision for you. Examine the information. Decide with honesty. Act only when the choice fits your needs and responsibilities. Now, look beyond the decision. Imagine something quieter. You wake with one clear priority, then complete it before the world scatters your attention. You listen for 8 minutes or create your own quiet practice. Then you write one responsible step. You send the email, make the appointment, or finish the page that has followed you for weeks. Later, someone you love speaks to you. Your mind is not trapped inside 10 unfinished decisions. You hear them. You answer without rushing. Your presence feels different. By evening, you have evidence. You did not only consume another message, you moved. That evidence rebuilds trust, because confidence grows when promises become visible actions. The obedience gap does not close in one dramatic moment. It closes each time insight is joined with behavior. The identity of someone who always delays begins losing power. If you choose the Genius Switch, let the audio become your starting signal. Listen, become still, and use clear immediately after. Do not let the routine end with a feeling. If you do not choose the product, the process still belongs to you. Set a timer for 8 minutes. Remove distractions. Calm the noise. Locate the instruction. Examine the cost. Act small, and review without shame. The tool is not the center of this story. Your responsible decision is the center. No audio can live your calling, protect your boundaries, finish your work, or speak the truth that only you can speak. You have stayed this far. You may be ready to choose how you will live when the message ends. So, answer the question promised at the beginning. Are you waiting for more wisdom, or waiting for a guarantee that you will never face risk? No mature step comes with complete certainty. Clarity does not remove every unknown. It gives you enough truth to move carefully, review honestly, and correct direction when new information appears. The final part will close the loop. You will hear the command without fear or pressure. Then you will decide what responsible step belongs inside the next 24 hours. You asked why people with strong intuition often doubt themselves the most. The answer is simple. They see more possibilities. They notice more consequences. They can feel several paths at once, and that gift can become overthinking when it has no structure. Your ability was never the enemy. The problem was letting every possibility demand equal attention. You do not need to silence your vision. You need to choose one responsible step and let action reveal what thinking alone cannot show. So, here is the command. Stop asking for another sign when you already have enough clarity to test the next step. Do not move from panic. Do not chase certainty. Prepare your mind, examine the facts, and act with responsibility. You do not need the whole future. You need one honest action within the next 24 hours. Send the message. Make the appointment. Research the opportunity. State the boundary. Begin the page. Let the step be small, but let it be real. And hear this as a prayer, not as pressure. My child, I am not asking you to control the entire future. I am asking you to become faithful with the step that is clear today. Say this within yourself. I do not need to see the entire road. I will not call fear wisdom. I will not call delay preparation. I will test what I feel. I will act with clarity, responsibility, and peace. If the genius switch fits your budget and your routine, you can find the official information in the description. If it does not fit, begin anyway. Take 8 quiet minutes, use clear, and choose one action you can complete today. Write, I take the next step below. This is not a promise to me. It is a declaration that fear will no longer make every decision for you. Chosen one. The command was never to become fearless. It was to become clear enough that fear no longer decides your direction. You do not have to run. Stand up, quiet the noise, and do the next right thing.